Hi, this is my final video submission. This is for assignment 6-5. And it's all about Peter Singh. I hope I'm saying his name right. And learning organizations. This was a little heavy with the reading compared to what we've done before. So I just had to keep reading it a couple of times to try to figure out exactly what it was that he was saying. But you were asking us to reflect on this and post a 4-minute video how camp can be a learning organization. I like to think that we are partially there, probably not 100%, but I think we definitely have aspects that make us a learning organization. It's interesting, something stuck with me during the article where they said that people spend their life trying to recapture that spirit, that they're part of something that's larger than themselves. And what we're noticing often is that when people go home, not just the staff and the campers, but when they leave the camp, the administrators too, we get camp sick. We're actually depressed for a while when we're home because we're part of something that's larger than ourselves. The environment that we have is very team-oriented, it's team-based. I don't make decisions on my own unless it's something trivial that I feel really doesn't impact the camp as a whole, behind the scenes work, I got to order this to make sure you have that, that kind of thing. But everything else I talk about. So if I need to leave or if anything happens, I'm not the sole person. It depends on the team. I consider myself the camp director, but it's the team that runs the camp, not me. So we make all of those decisions together. The other thing that hit me was that people excel and learn because they want to. This is commitment, not compliance. We don't pay much. I really feel that the way that we set up the environment and the atmosphere here, people are there because they want to work with kids. Because I ask everybody, why are you applying to work at this camp? Why are you applying to work with children? What's your motivation here? 99% of them would say because they want to work with children, they want to give back, they want to be the role model that they had growing up. Usually that's their motivation, so they're already there. So they're not just following this to be compliant. They actually have a commitment to it. They want to make a difference. They want to have that impact on children. So I think that aspect makes it really very easy to set this up as a learning organization. Going through my notes. How do we tap into the commitment and capacity to learn? Appreciation and the rewards. Appreciation constantly with staff might not be public like they mentioned in the Passion book, the Leadership Challenge, but it's constant and it comes from different people. It's not one person giving the appreciation. It's co-workers, we call each other co-people, not co-workers, co-people. So this, again, is not just compliance, it's commitment. We're people, we have a commitment to this, and we work that way. So our co-people play appreciation towards each other, the administrators, the team leaders, anybody over there. So we just have a culture of respect and appreciation. The rewards are, I think, mainly intrinsic. Even though they're getting this outside acknowledgement, I think a lot of it had to do intrinsically. They already have that. They want to be there and they want to do that work. Because they're giving back to the kids and they're working with campers and they can see the commitment that and the impact that they have on them. The other thing that hit me about working with camp and that I'm constantly pointing out to the staff that work there is often we learn more than the campers do. And we often say, they learned this, they figured it out, the light bulb went off. And I'm like, it went off for you too. And we reflect on that, so people realize not only the campus learning, but they're learning, they're evolving, and we're constantly adjusting and adapting to that. We have a system called GPS, growth through personal support, positive support, where we have feedback meetings with each other, and we focus on 3 things mainly, and I've mentioned this before. One, what are your strengths? What can you use to help you continue to grow? What could you work on? We're not calling it a weakness, but something that you feel that you can improve on is not at 100% capacity. And how can your supervisor, your co-people help you with that? So it's a very open, honest way of where they get to learn for themselves and in the end run benefits the camp and the campus. A team atmosphere. We have that from the moment that they're hired all the way through to the end of camp. I have questions for them during the interviews that inspire me to do things for the camp program. So feedback they're giving me already from an interview impacts our program for the summer. The number of weeks they work there, I don't think matters, because I think from the moment they're hired, from that questionnaire to all the things we ask them before they arrive at the camp to everything that we do during camp is team-based. And nobody's working in a silo, no one's doing anything alone. You work with your team. And you actually have several different teams that you work on, whether it be with your cabin, with your assigned team. There's two letter teams, Team I and Team B when it comes to counselors, a support staff team. You're working with your team in the cabin, but also your co-cabin. So there's different teams for different activities at different times. And sometimes we all work together as one big group when we do something. So you have different teams that overlap in different places, so you can see that they have an influence. And then at times they're working alone doing a lesson or a group or working with a class. So they are able to have that kind of control and keep learning from there and get feedback from other people on how to improve that. I'm just reading through what I have written down already. And I think that is everything. If I forget anything, I will send you another video. Thank you very much.